Okay.
We'll try that again. Hello. Take two. No emergency broadcast, please. Um, Welcome to Business Boot Camp for January, all about setting goals for the new year. I am Heather Gravely, a director under Tina Morrill and then under Sheila Addis. And we're just excited to get going. January is, as I was saying, is my favorite month of the entire year to have parties. And I just get very excited. And so one of my goals for this coming year is to carry that excitement to every month and not just January, so that I can just get everybody excited, get all my hosts excited. It really does make a difference. I'm going to switch the view on this. Well, it's not. Maybe I'll do colored. Okay, it was giving me a weird view. So we hear so much about goals going into January, resolutions, or what is your word of the year. I'm going to kind of keep away from some of those things and really just go for, as far as our business goes, what are our goals and how can we set goals and carry them through the entire year. So the first thing that I wanted to focus on, we hear it all the time, but without this, you can't really set goals for your entire year. What is your why? We hear that all the time. What is your why? And a couple of things come into that, play into that. Number one is, why did you begin your Pampered Chef business at the very beginning? And does that still apply? Some people may have, Aubrey, I know you joined just to get the free kit. And you've evolved since then, but why did you start, especially if you're new to the business, or if your business hasn't looked the way you wanted it to? What was your why when you first started, and why are you still doing your Pampered Chef business today? What do you want to get out of it? If you knew you could not fail, the magic words, if you knew you could not fail, what would you like your business to look like in this whole year, in 2023? What would you like it to look like by December 31st, 2023? What do you want your business to look like on December 31st of this year? And I remember sitting next to Sheila actually at our national conference in 2019, and they asked us that question. And I just remember taking my little index card and hiding it, because they made us write it down. You want to write it down. Get yourself an index card. Put it somewhere where you can see it all the time. Put it in your planner. Put it in your notebook where you take notes. Stick it on the front of your notebook. Stick it on the inside cover. I was so embarrassed to have her. I was so worried she was going to see what I wrote down, because it had, some goals on there. And I was like, there's no way I can do. And I totally did hit those goals. So it makes a difference to write them down. And I was looking everywhere. I spent so long looking for that statistic that, Sheila, I don't know if you remember, but Petra Krebs had shared with us. And it was like a certain percentage of people write down their goals. It's like, 10% or something like that of people write down their goals, but it was about like 95% of the people that write down their goals achieve their goals.
Right.
Something crazy like that. And I looked everywhere, I promised to find that. But it was something mind blowing like that. If you write down your goals, you are so, so, so much more likely to hit them. And if you do reach for those goals and you have them sitting in front of you and you're reaching for those goals, even if you fall short a little bit, look at how different your business would look at the end of 2023, having reached for those goals versus today. So what do you want your business to look like? What do you want your Pampered Chef business to do for your life? Do you want to meet more people? Do you want to get free products? What is most important to you? Do you want to pay down debt, save for a car, travel, have a debt-free Christmas? I don't know about you guys, but for the longest time, I was putting all of Christmas on credit cards, and that's not the case anymore. We paid for it with cash this year. So what are you wanting your Pampered Chef to do? How do you want it to affect your life this coming year? And if you would like it to be a hobby, and that is a completely, realistic thing for a lot of people. I think a lot of us want to grow our business this coming year, but if you want it to look more like a hobby and just do it for fun, just do, a couple orders or one party, if that's the case, if you say, I just want to, dabble in it, is it because that's your why? Is it because that fits in with your why, what why you're running your business today? Or is it out of fear? And that's just one question I want to put out to anybody who isn't going for the big goals. Are you not going for those goals because you don't want to put the time in because you have these other priorities and you do just want to dabble? Or is it because it's backed by fear? You never want to let fear determine the direction of your goals. So if you could dream big this year, what would your ideal Pampered Chef business look like? And this is like the big dream. What do you want it to look like just if you could have anything out of your Pampered Chef business? Would you travel to Boston? Would you travel to Punta Cana? Would you travel on the executive level trip? Would you have a car allowance? What are the big time goals? If you could just dream big, what would it look like? And that will kind of tell you, okay, are you in hobby mode or are you in growth mode? And if you're in growth mode, your goals are going to look very different from a person who is in hobby mode, right? So I said the most important thing you can do for yourself is write down your goals. Take one of your goals and break it down. It's very simple. It's just working backwards, right? So if you have a goal by the end of the year to have a certain number of parties every month, okay? By the end of the year, you want to be at a place where you average 6 parties a month. You average 8 parties a month. You average 12 parties a month. You average 2 parties a month. What does that look like for you? So I'm using myself as an example to sort of show how you can break it down. Let's say I have a goal for myself to be an elite seller, that level by the end of 2023. And so that is, if I'm remembering right, this is what I wrote down, 6,000 a month in sales. And so that's what I wrote down for myself, $6,000 a month in sales. For me, I kind of tend to guesstimate on the conservative side. So I'm going to say my average sales per party, I always use $500 because it just makes my mathing easy. I always say I was an English major, not a math major. So I make my mathing easy. And so that would be 12 parties a month that I want to have. But you can't just stop there because we all know that some will flop, some will drop, right? And then you'll have some great parties. So when I say 12 parties, I really go for 16 bookings because I'm going to sort of round up, give myself a little extra. And what that means for me is if you look at each booking that you want in a month, and if you figure it's about, now you can figure out your averages, but I was using an average of, it takes 20 meaningful, what I call meaningful reach outs. Catherine's like, oh, I've heard her, you probably heard me say this. I'm really into the meaningful reach outs. So if it takes 20 meaningful reach outs to get one booking, then how many reach outs do you have to do in a month to get 16 bookings? Or how many do I have to do? And that math comes out to 320 meaningful reach outs per month. That sounds like, oh my gosh, that's so many. But for me, it breaks down to 80 reach outs a week. And if I'm doing reach outs 5 days a week, then that's 36 per day if I'm doing 5 days a week and I want to wind up with 16 parties. For me, I think my reach out ratio is a little bit better than that. I think actually, no, it probably averages because I'm doing birthday reach outs where, so it probably is about that. So that's what you want to figure out for yourself is how many parties do you want? If you figure you want to throw in a couple extra bookings and then work backwards, how many reach outs do I need per month to get that? How many reach outs do I need per week? How many reach outs per day? And then that is your goal per day. And how many days a week do I want to work? So for me, this is my full-time gig. So I'm going to work a little bit more than somebody who has a goal of 2 parties a month. So don't let those numbers scare you. That's for me. And each person is going to be, have their own set of goals. And you work your business based on those goals, but don't break that promise to yourself. You create the habit and you be accountable to you. You are your own employee in this business, right? So you take a look at what you're doing now and what you would like to do to reach your goals, and say, okay, what habits do I need to start doing? And what habits do I need to stop doing? Okay, something that you could start doing is obviously making those reach outs, and do them first thing in the morning. Do them first thing when you sit down to do your business, whenever that is for you. Make that thing that you hate doing the most the thing you do first. Get that out of the way. Let those just be done, and then you'll start seeing the fruit of that labor, the fruit of that effort. You will book parties, because the times that I have done my reach outs, I might have a day where I don't get any bookings, but when I keep going and I stay consistent, my calendar fills up. You do get bookings. And if you're not getting the bookings, then that's when you reach out to your director and say, okay, something's not working. What can I do different? Let me, can I show you my wording that I'm using? Can I show you how I'm responding back when somebody says no? Can I send you, what that conversation looks like? Then you reach out to your director. If you're making those reach outs and you're not getting the bookings, then there might be one little tweak and it'll change your whole business, right? But those people will say, I can't get bookings. I can't get bookings. You can get bookings, because they are out there. If they're out there for me, trust me, I am no one special. And I'm booking parties left and right, because we have something to fill. We can fill a need that people have right now. We have the products, but especially the recipes. I can't tell you how many people are posting on Facebook, oh my goodness, I'm in such a rut. I need new recipes for this. I need new recipes for that. And people are posting like crazy about that. So we have something for free that they want, and that's the recipes and being a resource to them. So look at that, and set your goals. The other thing I wanted to mention is, you do hear a lot about SMART goals. You don't just want to like say, well, I just want to book more parties. I just want to have, good sales. What are they? You want them to be, I always forget, specific. You want them to be specific, measurable, achievable with where your life is right now, realistic, and timely. So you want to have a time goal. You want to say, okay, my first goal, I'm not doing anything in my Pampered Chef business right now. My first goal is going to be green by 15 every single month. And make that a promise you do not break to yourself. Green by 15. Okay, what do I need to do to get there? Well, you obviously need to concentrate on the very beginning of the month, right? Another one could be, and this was always my goal when I was starting, is to reach that sales consultant special, the sales special, every single month. So that is $1,000, 2 parties. Okay. Again, front load your calendar so that you're not chasing your business, you're driving your business. And what, is that going to be your first goal? Can that be your first goal? So if you know that you want to do 2 parties so that you can get that sales incentive every time, how many reach outs will that be for you? Okay. Another great goal, of course, would be the incentive trip. And I'm telling you, those of you who have not been on one, when I started my business, it was just 4 years ago, I said, there's no way I'll be like, I didn't even say, no, there's no way I'll travel. It was not even a thought to me. It was just something that Tina and Miriam did. It wasn't something that I did. Right. And it wasn't until they offered Disney, because I wanted it bad enough. That's what changed my business. I had never brought my kids to Disney, and I decided, oh my gosh, this would be so fantastic. Why not? Why not just go for it? Like, what's the worst that could happen? I go for it and don't hit it. Okay. I can live with that. And I hit it. So, and I've gotten every trip since, because that's a goal for me, is to get that trip. So I am going to share my screen now, because this is really important. And we're doing okay on time. Okay-ish. So let me share my screen. Maybe. Come on, little screen. Okay. Any questions so far? Or anything you want to share? Where did I put it? It's here somewhere. Okay, there it is. All right. So I hope you guys can see. Can you see that okay? Is it cut off at all? Or is it pretty good?
I can see it.
Okay. I shared this last year. I'm trying to get this thing out of the way. So hold on, it's right in the middle. Okay. I shared this actually 2 years ago, I think. And this shows you the difference that having different goals can have on this incentive trip idea. So this shows you, okay, to get incentive trip level 1 is 60,000 points. Now remember, if you are a new consultant, anything that you earned last year is going to carry over to this year if you didn't hit the incentive trip last year. So like Catherine, for example, did earn 10,000 points last year. Woo-hoo. And so that is carrying over. So she's starting at 10,000 points, just like that. Okay. So if you try to, if this trip, I mean, traveling is so great, right? If you try to earn the trip with just sales, I'm trying to remember my symbols. I think this is each bag is one party. So this is how many parties you would have to do each month to get there, and this is based on averages, blah, blah, blah. If you were to recruit and qualify one team member every other month, just every other month, one person every other month, and this is the little happy faces or your little happy consultants, that's what that is. You're adding people to your team, you're adding 6 people to your team. And I even was kind of conservative, I said, okay, reach team leader. And these are qualified recruits. You reach team leader by the middle of the year. And so this is how many parties you need to have per month, 6.5. That's really a different view that makes it more doable, right? And then if you say, you know what, I just want to recruit, this is my goal. So again, if you are going to do whatever it takes to reach your goal, I'm going to try to recruit one person every single month. Then look, you'll make director. You will only need 2 parties a month to get to Boston, right? Or you can do what a director would do, which is 7 parties a month, and you would be joining us in Punta Cana next year. How fun would that be? So I showed this to you to say, okay, don't exclude the idea of setting goals for yourself to recruit, because look at what can happen. It also makes you invest more in your own business when you have somebody looking to you. That was the biggest difference that I found when I started recruiting, because I went 6 months or so with no recruiting whatsoever. I was like, nope, I just want to get some extra, paychecks. That's not for me. I don't want to be that person. And when I started recruiting, it was like, oh, I can't let that person, I have to show up now because I've got somebody watching me. And it really makes a difference to have that happen. So it really makes you invest more in your business, and you will see your business take off. I'm going to stop sharing. Any questions about any of that? Obviously, we know that recruiting really does fix everything, because that's when I focus more on recruiting, my whole business is stronger. And it seems like it would be opposite that, because you might be giving a party or a host or a set of, parties away to your new consultant. But no, it made my business so much stronger. Some other things that I would say, and Aubrey and I both know this, is tracking your progress toward your goals. Whatever your goal is, you must track it and have it posted somewhere where you can see it. So if you are looking at, if your main goal is to be green by 15 every month, put a tracker up. How close are you? What's your plan? If you are shooting for that sales consultant promotion every single month, great. Do you have, let's say, 3 or 4 bookings to get, to make sure that 2 of them stick? What is your plan for that? And what I did at the very end of last year when I was trying to earn the trip to Mexico was I actually drew out this whole little tracker, and at the bottom of it, I wrote out, this is how much I want for, I think it was October, November, December. This is how much in sales I want for each month. And I wrote it out and how many points that would give me. This is how many recruits I want to qualify each month. And this is how much it'll get. And I literally wrote it out. And as I did it, I checked it off, and then I let my sales grow. I watched the points grow as we went along. And keeping that in front of me, I think my family thought I was crazy for just putting that on the pantry door. But keeping that in front of me when I was a little unsure whether I'd make it or not is what really, it motivated me, for sure, being able to fill in little points. So post your monthly booking and sales goals and recruiting goals and put them in front of you. Pampered Chef gives us some really great tools, a monthly planner, and it actually like sets all of these things out for you. It's in the resource library in Dash. Another tip I would say is to front load your calendar so that you're not chasing, like I said, you're not chasing your business at the end of the month, you're driving your business. So really, put that into practice. Get in the habit of doing that. That was a huge thing that I did for my own business that made just a very big difference. When I heard Steve Drapalski say that early on, and he said, front load your calendar, exactly what I just said. So you're driving your business, not chasing it. And it just clicked. And I started doing that, trying to make myself green by 15 every single month. And when I did that, my business was so much stronger because I was not in panic mode, right? If you're in panic mode at the end of a month, what's happening to your next month? You're not working your business for the next month, right? So does anybody want to share a couple of goals that they have right now? I know we started a little late, so we can go a little bit.
Aubrey, do you want to share your goals? I know you've got some good goals.
Sorry, it's super loud here.
Okay, I can hear you.
Like my goals for just each month?
Yes.
Okay, so I am going to try to get 5,000 in sales. And like Heather says, you don't give up until you get it. So I want to do at least 6 parties. This month I'm doing 5 parties a week, but next month I'll start doing 6 parties a week. So I'm not going to give up until I get those. So like last night, I was still messaging people because I had 1 spot open and I finally got that person and I'm like, okay, now I can switch to the next day. So do not give up until that day hits because you still have time. I want to try to get 2 recruits every month because then that'll get me definitely to a level 2 trip every year if I can recruit 2 and keep my director sales. So, I mean, just basically recruit 2 and 5,000 a month and focus around 30 parties a month because my sale average is so low. So I have to have, I think, 24, 25 parties in order to get my goal. So I round up to 30 to make sure I have it when people fall out.
And that's something that I was going to kind of mention, and I'm glad that you did mention it because if there is an area of your business that could use some improvement. So for me, it would be how the percentage of recruits that come onto my team that are qualifying. Okay, that's somewhere where I really need some improvement. And that's where I'm going to be focusing a lot of my attention and saying, okay, what can I do different to get this to happen? I've made a lot of changes, but some, and some have taken, some have not. And what can I do to improve that number? And Aubrey, that your number is low. And so you should be looking also, in addition to, I love that you are working with that number. And then while you can also be looking at ways to improve that number too. So you don't want to say, well, some people would say my sales are low, so I can't XYZ. But you're saying, you know what, my sales are low, so I need to do XYZ to get to where I want to be. It is all in your mind. It's all a matter of your mindset. So I really like that, but it does give you a place to, to find some improvement, find some trainings, talk to some people, talk to other directors and say, okay, what are you doing to increase sales? What, and Aubrey, you've even done that. You asked me to add you to one of my parties that had really good sales for that same reason, to see, okay, what could somebody be doing that maybe I could just tweak and make a really big impact on my business. Katie or Catherine, do either one of you want to share? Oh, Catherine's on the phone. Katie, do you want to share?
I guess like a short term, just to get to that 1,000 every month, to get that whatever that thing is.
To get the consultant special every
month.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a really good goal.
It is a great goal.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been shooting for. So that's my main, I want to do that every month this year. So
and so if you are falling short of that, where are you falling short? Is it falling short with the number of parties you're booking? Is it falling short where your sales in each party are lower? So maybe you need to book more parties. So kind of take a look at that. Is there one place where you think that you're falling short?
Yeah, I definitely am not very good at reaching out to people, which has been my problem all along. So
Consistency.
that's, that's my main thing. I need to get better about being,
You're
Just,
offering a
you know.
service, Katie. Don't feel
Yeah.
embarrassed. Don't feel like you're bugging them.
I know. I got to get out of my head
How
with
has
that.
Pampered Chef changed your life? So stop worrying about inconveniencing them, because the people who matter don't mind and the people who mind don't matter. So if they say no, they get mad at you, they ain't worth it. So just move on to the next one, because the next no is closer to a yes.
I like that. Thank you.
You got this, girl.
Yeah, it's so true. And they're out there. I mean, really. And if you feel like and this is what, Aubrey and I had talked about at the end of last year, was if you feel like you're asking the same people over and over again, is that something that might be an issue where you,
Yeah, definitely.
then find
Yeah.
new people. And there are ways to do it. I know it's easy to say, it kind of is easy
Mhm.
to do. And if you
Yeah.
want to get with me afterwards and we can, talk about that a little bit, but look at Catherine, she's like, she's
Yes.
doing it.
Here's another
Isn't it?
little cheater tip that I use. Since I message everybody in my parties like I do welcome messages, they're in my inbox. So when I start needing booking asks, I scroll all the way to the very bottom of my inbox. I mean, that could be a year or two back, and I start messaging people from all the way back there. If they ignored me, guess what? They're getting a message again because they did not give me a no. So until they
Mhm.
give me a no, they are going to get messaged. And then if they ignore me again, well, they'll be at the bottom of my list when I run out of contacts. So I'll go right back to them. They can easily tell you no. If they
Right.
don't tell you no, then that's on them. And I straight up got sassy with my people today. And I'll just read everybody since this is recorded. I said, let me find what I said. I said, hey, I just wanted to reach back out. I know life gets busy and sometimes we forget to reply or forget that we've seen a message. I don't want to be a bother, so please let me know whether you're interested in hosting a party for January 16th or 23rd, hosting later this year, or not ever interested. Thank you so much for your feedback. Happy 2023. Because I want an answer. And the people that ignore me, bet your butt, they're going to get messaged again later this year. But I do that after 3 days. So I message everybody my message, and 3 days later, I send them that. If they don't reply after that, they go back to the end of my queue. And when I need someone to message, they get bugged again.
See,
But
and
I
that's-
Do you do Facebook messaging or do you do emails and text
I do
messages?
Facebook.
Or all of the above. Okay.
I like Facebook too. I mean, I know, and I do certain things for Project Broadcast, but I feel like texting is a little more intimate or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like to be bugged, but if I'm asking somebody about their order, if I'm asking
Right.
somebody, that first ask for a party, or, that first immediate one, if I'm telling them about a shared rewards party, so a discount I'm trying to give somebody, I will send it through text. But for those, I don't like to do that myself, but that's just me.
Yeah.
And, like I said, there are bookings out there. And if you feel like you're asking the same people, get in touch with the people who are getting a lot of bookings and ask them what they're doing. Because I'm telling you, when I started doing this, none of my family and friends would book parties. And so that became a huge goal of mine, is to get off my friends list. And that's what I've done. I think when I started, I may have had 400 friends on my Facebook. And now I'm up to 2,500 because of just some systems that I've put in place for my parties that have changed my business. So if you want to talk a little more about that afterwards, feel free. But I think that's all I have. I had a little bit written down about my own goals, but I think I shared a little bit about, seeing where my shortfalls were and what some of my goals are. Get yourself that big, scary goal. And, what does that look like for you? And figure out a plan to get there. I think that the biggest item that I would say is the habits, looking at your habits, what habits you need to change, what habits you need to start doing, what you need to stop doing, and never breaking a promise to yourself. If you write down that you're going to get, like Aubrey was saying, you write down you want 4 parties a week, don't stop until you get 4 parties a week. because they're there. It's just a matter of asking different people. So, and getting creative. So anything else? Anybody else want to share? I know you've got a little one there, Catherine, so I don't know if you can talk. Did you have any? Nope, you're good. I know what some of her goals are. She's got big goals. So we're happy.
And really try to go for the 2 bookings at every party, or the 3, because with the 3 bookings at every party, your host gets the $50 booking credit. And with going for 3, then you'll end up with 2. 1 will replace that one, and then 1 is your bonus party. But so my goal is to get better at making sure I try for 3 bookings from every show without fail, so that if I can't get it from my host and she's not like complying the way I want to, then my job has to be a little tougher, because now I've got to go within her show, within those people, and dig deeper and do it on my own. But my goal every month and this year is to really partner with my host to get 3 bookings, so that I'll have at least 2 from every party.
Very good. And one of my other goals is to make, and Catherine, I think I've said this to you, is to make the absolute most out of every single party guest in every single party, because I am trying to grow my circle and not ask the same people all the time. I try to make the most. I don't let any party guest go if I can help it. So that's one of my goals, and that really affects my recruiting. It affects my booking. I'm having private conversations with them, so I get to know them a little bit. Were they a consultant before? A lot of them are very willing to share that one with the questions that I ask. And so it all comes back around to your parties, getting those bookings, and then making the most out of every single guest in each party. So, well, I hope this was helpful. I hope it was.
Thank you, Heather. It was great.
Yes, and
Yeah.
maybe we'll put a thread up in Addis All Stars that says, what are your goals? Because it's really
Yes.
fun to cheer each other on.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Goal setting is great. Thank you, Heather. Great job.
okay. And Katie, let me know if you wanted to stay after, but if you need to go, I understand. So, okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye,
I'm gonna stop
everybody.
recording. Bye. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah, I'll
Heather.
get some, if you have a few minutes.
Yeah, let me figure out how to stop.